All right, we're back here with a quick video, quick-ish. I'll show you what I'm. Is the screen? Yeah. All right, it's all working. Anyways, I am setting up some new stuff in my lab, and I was in need of something to run the NABU RetroNet. In this case, I'm going to be setting up nabud, which is a very slim background process that can run on, looks like Mac OS, but I'm running it on Linux on a Raspberry Pi. Idea being I want something sitting here local to run NABUnet so I can, or RetroNet, so I can run the NABU computer. And I'm going to go through how to install it real quick because I haven't found a whole lot out there of guides, and it took a little bit and I've learned a little bit, so I thought I'd share. Anyways, here is the project on GitHub, nabud. And of course, first thing you want to do is, do a git clone on that repo, which, there it is right there. A couple of things. It mentions in the docs, if you go down here, and it says to build it, but down here it says if you're going to do a couple of things, you'll need these libraries. So libssldev and libreadlinedev. I found I needed both of those, so I went ahead and installed both of them. Just apt, put them in, all you got to do. Right, install those two dependency packages. Away they go. The next thing, it's going to run under, well, I guess I should say, if you want it to run under systemd on Linux, you'll need some identities to run it as. And in this case, I'm going to add a group called NABU. Which I've already done this. And then we create a user, and if you go on their guide here, way down, kind of down here are some of the commands. So you can copy and paste from here on Ubuntu, which works on Raspbian as well. I'm kind of laying it out in the order in which I'm doing it. The order on this guide kind of bounces around and isn't the greatest. So this is kind of the order I'm going in that works. Install the packages, do a git clone, add a group, add a user, and then what we want to do is make a directory location for where the content's going to go, if you want to host some local stuff, and where each machine is going to go. So once again, I already have it on here. And if we go over to export, which is where it's going to go, and NABU, you can see there's two directories, channels and storage. In my case, that's where I decided to put them. Looks like this didn't work, so let's back up. Oops. What am I doing? Show -r NABU colon NABU. Yeah, let's update this here. All right, so double check, and we should now have a directory down here. Export NABU, and we have channels and storage. And they are both owned by the NABU user that we created and read, write, execute for them. So there we go. I previously did a git clone on the source code, and it's sitting here on disk. So at this point, we've got, let's double check, we've got installed packages, got the code, added the user and the group, created the directory tree, made sure ownership is set. So at that point, we're going to go back to the docs. And over here, you can see it says to, where is it at, blah, 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 to a configure, make, install. So I did the make already, that's the compile. So we're just going to go ahead and do a sudo. By the way, you got to do that. Add a sudo here for the install because it installs it in user local bin by default unless you change the prefix to be somewhere else. So we can validate that. Let's go down to user local bin, and we got the NABU CTL client, which is one of the reasons I like this one. And in sbin we've got nabud. Yep, and away we go. Next thing you want to do, by default in the source code in the examples directory, you will see a nabud.conf file, and this is the main configuration file. Take this and modify it to your local environment, where you have the channels and storage, what your serial adapter is. In my case, I have an RS422 to USB serial adapter, which that's what we're going to set up. It is now plugged into the NABU at the moment. Sorry, into the Pi at the moment. So if we do a sudo journal control bear, and let's look for grep for it, USB. What do we got? Well, let's first do a ls USB. Let's see. So, yep, here it is, the FT232 UART IC. We have the USB device in there. Now let's find out what it connected as. And if you grep through the message, you'll see things like this where it says dev TTY USB 0. Your mileage may vary based on your serial adapter. Sometimes it has an odd looking long device name. Other times it's like this. I'm not sure which ones have which, so again, your mileage may vary. If you look in the example, it has one of the other ones. I pre-configured this in my own nabud.conf right here. So I went ahead and I changed the path location to be that export NABU. And down here at the bottom, I have a connection for a serial adapter, and I have it there, and I have the storage area set for export in the, oh, how about that? That's wrong. Let's change that. Export home. No, duh. Oh, so used to saying export home. It's normally what sits in export. So let's go through here and double check. It's all export NABU. Export NABU channels. Looks okay. Set up for the serial adapter. And away we go. According to the docs, it says to take it and put it in wherever the prefix is, which is, again, default user local. I have my own. Make your own or modify the one. So let's copy, got sudo to user local etc, right? Double check, and there it is. And it looks good. So, got the config file on disk, got the binaries on disk. Now let's set up systemd. And if we go back to the docs, it is on here as well. Kind of go down, here's the configuring section with the options you can pass into it. They do kind of briefly mention the TTY and the permissions and whatnot, but let's go down here. Where is it? Here we go, Linux systemd. So we want to copy the service definition file in, reload it, and then enable and start. So in theory, at that point, the thing should be working. So let's do exactly that. I got those commands right here. So we've got copy there. Let's just make sure that one works. And let's do these three. All right, now let's do systemctl status nabud. Oops. So it appears to be running. And if we look here, it is running as the NABU user with a UMask of 002. So the default configuration seems to be in place. And you can look at that service definition file and change if need be. There's some errors here. I can't remember. I had to fix these before about network ports. I don't remember what they are. And the IPv6 ones too, which maybe IPv6 isn't on this Pi or something. I don't remember. I fixed it at one point, but it didn't affect me. But let's just double check and make sure it's running. And there it is. Let's just look at journal control. Is there anything? So note it does set the sort of odd settings that the NABU requires, 8 none 2 and the lower baud rate, so it takes care of all that. And it sets up a couple of default channels that should be ready to go. At this point, you know what? I'll flip over the KVM to the NABU, turn it on, and let's see if it works. And come on. Alrighty, that NABU has a floppy card in it, so it gives me 2 options. Let's go with cable. Load, load, load. Ba-ding! Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like full screen here. Let's hit enter. Or go on the NABU. And there you go. And that is all there is to it. Took me, what, 10, 15 minutes to do. It's really pretty straightforward and simple. Works out of the box. Probably the longest part is just the compilation. On this Pi, it only took like 5 or 6 minutes, though, so that's not long. I'd say, you know, if you follow these commands and follow this order right here, you could probably be done in 30 minutes and have your NABU up and working. So hope that helps. That's what I've learned. I've learned out of doing this. More NABU stuff to come hopefully in the future. Take care.